Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're taking something that usually feels, well, a little dry, reflective writing, and turning it into a total superpower for your academic and professional growth. Whether you're slogging through university assignments or trying to make sense of a chaotic project debrief at work, knowing how to actually reflect is a game changer. So, let's master it together.
Let me ask you this. Have you ever walked away from a group project just feeling totally defeated? Like you're wondering why a team of incredibly smart people literally couldn't pull it together? You know the drill. You put in the hours, you did the research, but the final result? A disjointed mess. We've all been there, right? And usually, we just complain about it and move on. But what if you could actually extract a guaranteed formula for future success out of that exact failure?
Well, that frustration is exactly where the DIEP framework comes in. DIEP stands for Describe, Interpret, Evaluate, and Plan. And look, this isn't just some fancy trick to pad the word count on a university essay. It's a highly structured, super practical method designed to take those messy, real-world experiences and turn them into actionable, repeatable insights.
So here's the game plan. We're going to break down this framework step by step. Describe the concrete moment, interpret its deeper meaning, evaluate its actual value, and finally, plan for action and transfer. And to make this super concrete, we're going to follow one student's absolutely disastrous group presentation rehearsal to see exactly how they use this framework to save their future projects. Let's dive in.
Okay, step 1. D is for describe. This is where we zoom in on the concrete learning moment before we even try to analyze it.
The whole point here is to isolate your insight and its context. You've got to explicitly lay out the new learning and whatever triggered it. Maybe it was a class activity, maybe some harsh feedback, or just a really jarring discussion. The golden rule, keep it hyper-focused. Only use relevant details, and whatever you do, please don't retell the whole event. This isn't a diary entry, you know? We really don't need to know what you had for lunch. Just ask yourself 2 simple things. What exactly did I learn, and what specific moment made it click?
During a group presentation rehearsal, I realized that clear role allocation prevents confusion. This insight came when 2 members prepared the same section, while another section was missed. The experience showed me that teamwork needs planning before content creation begins.
Let's look at how our student handled this. They wrote, "During a group presentation rehearsal, I realized that clear role allocation prevents confusion. This insight came when 2 members prepared the same section while another section was missed." I mean, it's perfect, right? It's incredibly focused. In just 2 sentences, they nailed the exact trigger, that rehearsal, and the concrete problem, which was 2 people doing the exact same work while a whole section was completely ignored. It perfectly zeroes in on the realization that teamwork demands rigid planning before anyone starts creating content.
All right, so we know what happened. Next up is the I, interpret. This is where we pivot away from the actual event and start digging for the deeper meaning.
To pull this off, you have to explain why this learning actually matters. You need to link this one isolated event to broader theories, course concepts, or academic literature. Basically, you're stress testing your insight. You want to ask yourself, is this logical? Does it actually apply in other scenarios? And most importantly, is this a totally new or evolved understanding compared to what I thought yesterday?
Check out the massive leap from a surface-level observation to a deeper insight here. We start with the raw facts from our describe phase. We duplicated work and missed a section. Right, that's just a fact. But through interpretation, it evolves into a much broader truth. Effort isn't enough. Structure and accountability shape performance. See what happened? We moved from simply saying, we messed up, to a profound realization that just trying hard is never going to guarantee success if your underlying structure is completely broken.
This insight matters because a team can have good ideas, but still perform poorly if responsibilities are unclear. It connects to project management concepts about planning, communication, and accountability. I previously thought teamwork problems were mostly about effort, but now I see that structure also shapes performance.
It connects to project management concepts about planning, communication, and accountability. They're brilliantly tying their messy, very specific rehearsal disaster to established project management concepts, and then they own up to their evolved understanding. I previously thought teamwork problems were mostly about effort, but now I see that structure also shapes performance. Just like that, they've shifted their entire perspective on what makes a team actually succeed.
Okay, meaning established. Now we transition to E, evaluate. This is where we measure the actual real-world value of this shiny new insight. Evaluation means taking a step back and judging the true usefulness of what you just learned. And a quick heads up, just deciding if the experience was good or bad doesn't count. Complaining is definitely not an evaluation. You have to break it down. Ask yourself, what specific skills or confidence did I gain? How will my coursework or next assignment actually be easier? And crucially for your career, how is this insight directly relevant to your future professional practice?
The value of this is practical. It can make my future group work more efficient and reduce stress before deadlines. It also builds professional confidence because workplaces expect people to clarify tasks, share responsibility, and avoid duplicated effort. However, I still need to practice giving clear instructions without sounding controlling.
For our student, the value isn't just some abstract academic concept, it's highly practical. Figuring this out now actively reduces stress for upcoming deadlines and builds professional confidence. Why? Because out in the real world, modern workplaces absolutely expect you to know how to clarify tasks, prevent duplicated effort, and share responsibility. This student realizes that mastering these skills right now is literally preparing them for exactly what future employers are going to demand.
But honestly, what's incredibly authentic about this student's evaluation is the self-awareness. They add, however, I still need to practice giving clear instructions without sounding controlling. Wow, right? They acknowledge a very real remaining gap in their skill set. They know structure is key, but they also evaluate their own communication style, realizing they still have to figure out how to be an effective leader without coming off as a total dictator. That level of honest evaluation is exactly what makes reflective writing such a powerful tool.
And finally, we arrive at the last step, P for plan. This is where we bring it all together and turn all this reflection into a tangible strategy for action. This right here is where the magic happens. You have to finish your reflection by naming a specific, undeniable behavior that you are going to change. Setting some vague goal like, oh, I'll do better next time, just isn't going to cut it. You need realistic, measurable goals, and you have to employ concrete strategies. We're talking role charts, shared checklists, timelines, the whole shebang. You are literally building a system to guarantee that the mistake you described in step 1 never, ever happens again.
In my next group project, I will suggest a short planning meeting before research begins. We will divide roles, confirm each person's section, and create a shared deadline checklist. I will also ask the group to review the plan halfway through the project so we can fix problems before the final submission.
Hard-learned lesson and translates it into a precise 3-step action plan for their next group project. Step 1, hold a short planning meeting before any research even starts. Step 2, divide roles and create a shared deadline checklist. And Step 3, conduct a mid-project review. It is brilliantly simple. They're making sure roles are divided on day 1 and that any problems get caught halfway through rather than at midnight the night before the presentation. Looking at their final written reflection, you can see how seamlessly they've taken that initial messy rehearsal and spun it into a professional, proactive strategy. In my next group project, I will suggest a short planning meeting before research begins. I will also ask the group to review the plan halfway through the project so we can fix problems before the final submission. They've completely transformed from a disorganized participant into someone ready to confidently structure a team. It practically guarantees a better outcome next time. And really, that's the true power of the DIEP framework.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a challenge. Think about a recent setback you've faced. Maybe it was a weird miscommunication at work or an assignment that just completely went off the rails. How can you use describe, interpret, evaluate, and plan today to turn that frustration into your next great professional advantage? Take that messy experience, run it through the DIEP framework, and just watch how it transforms your approach. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and happy reflecting.